My heart is heavy because of the war in Ukraine. We must pray for the people in the war zone. If you see any Ukrainian refugee family in your place, please help them. The war between Russia and Ukraine is a religious war. The media don't tell you the truth. The long rivalry among religious bodies in Russia and Ukraine created the massive suffering for the people of Ukraine. God told me to give this news to you. We have a generation that don't know about Cold War and Soviet Union. I have made a presentation. The objective of the presentation is to take you back to the Cold War era, then compare those factors with the present day scenario. Of course, I am not going to talk politics. Let's get into the presentation. It is always about West versus East, capitalism versus communism. After the Second World War, USA joined with Canada and other European partners to form a military alliance called NATO. Similarly, Soviet Union joined with 7 Eastern European countries and formed a military alliance called Warsaw Pact. Soviet Union or Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, USSR. This union had 15 republics, 15 countries including Ukraine, founded in 1922, dissolved in 1991 for various political reasons. It was a big landmass, 75% the size of African continent. West side start from Poland, went all the way to Alaska in the east. Northern side Arctic, southern side bordered with China, Mongolia, Afghanistan, Iran, and few other Asian countries. United States of America. It has 50 states, 1 federal district, that's the capital, Washington, D.C., 5 unincorporated territories. The country has 326 autonomous Indian reservations for Native American people. USA also owns 9 minor islands around the world. Let's look into NATO versus Warsaw Pact. North Atlantic Treaty Organization, founded in 1949. Currently it has 30 members. Look at the chart. Until 1955, it had only 15 members. Spain joined in 1982. After the collapse of Soviet Union, it got 14 new members from the Eastern European region. It's a military alliance, meaning if someone attacks Belgium, it will be considered as an attack on the remaining 29 countries. They all go together to fight with the enemy. Soviet did the same. Warsaw Treaty Organization They joined with 7 Eastern European countries and created the military alliance after the NATO. Cold War. It happened between 1947 and 1991 for 45 years. Why we call it Cold War? Because United States of America and Soviet Union never got into a direct conflict or war. They used other countries in the world to prove their power. Some notable wars were Arab-Israel, Korean, India-Pakistan wars, Bangladesh Liberation War, Vietnam, Iran and Iraq wars. Plus, hundreds of armed conflicts in South America and Africa. The Cold War cost 180,000 lives every year around the world. 8 million people were dead in those 45 years. In 1991, Soviet Union collapsed and it created 15 new countries in the world. Number 11, Russia. It is still the largest country in the world by land mass. Number 3 is Belarus. Number 14 is Ukraine. In 1990, Germany united. 1991, Soviet Union dissolved. Cold War ended. NATO got new members, notably 3 members from Soviet Union: Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. They joined NATO in 2004. 90s, Russia had a hard time, but they started rising. After the collapse of Soviet Union, it has become like United States versus Russia. Both are big Christian countries. We look into their population and Christian denominations. The population of USA is 330 million. Protestant Christians are 220 million. Roman Catholics 75 million. Other denominations comes around 13 million. United States is the largest Protestant country in the world. The population of Russia is 145 million. Eastern Orthodox Christians comes around 105 million. Protestant Christians 2 million. Roman Catholics 150,000. To understand Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus, we have to understand the Eastern Orthodox history. In the first century, Paul and Apostle traveled extensively in Ethiopia, Egypt, Turkey, Greece, and Italy to preach the gospel. Between 1st and 3rd century, Christians were persecuted for their belief. They were persecuted by Roman Empire and other Jewish establishments. In year 312, the Roman Emperor Constantine saw the cross in the sky. Then he became a Christian. He started following Jesus Christ. He wanted to discipline the churches in the region. In year 325, Constantine called for the first ecumenical council. Ecumenical means a system that represents different churches in a specific region. This is the start of Eastern Orthodoxy. Romans ruled from Constantinople, the present-day Istanbul. The Constantinople has become Rome too. The people who follow Rome too are Eastern Orthodox people. In year 530, Emperor Justinian built Hagia Sophia in Constantinople, that is Istanbul. It's an icon of Eastern Orthodoxy. During that time, it was the second largest cathedral in the world. Then 1500s, Muslim took over and they converted the church into a mosque. Between 530 and 1053, Eastern Orthodox was growing continuously in Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. In 1054, they separated from Catholics. All these centuries, almost 9 centuries, they traveled with Catholics. Then Catholicism started spreading in West. Then the Rus people wanted something unique for themselves. So they separated from Catholics in 1054. It's called Great Schism. Schism means separate or split. The worldwide population of Eastern Orthodox followers is 220 million. Religious practice exists in 65 countries. Russia alone has 105 million followers, Ukraine 35 million, Belarus 8 million. So 150 million people lives in one region out of 220 million. Not only that, all these people belong to one ethnic group called Rus. Let's look into Russian Eastern Orthodox Church. In 1589, Moscow had become the third Rome. The Patriarchate of Constantinople granted autocephalous status to Moscow. Patriarchate means office, autocephalous means autonomous. From this year, Moscow had become the capital of the largest Orthodox Christian polity. In 1996, Moscow-Constantinople schism happened. The Russian Orthodox Church severed full communion with the Ecumenical Patriarchate of Constantinople. Constantinople is Istanbul. It's in Turkey. Turkey is a NATO country. Therefore, the people in Russia, the Eastern Orthodox people, don't want to take direction from a pope who lives in Turkey. From this year, Ecumenical Patriarch of Constantinople became the competitor of Moscow. It is sad to say this, but that's the truth. He is Bartholomew I, Ecumenical Patriarch of Constantinople, Bishop or Pope of Constantinople. He is in Istanbul. We call this place Rome II. This man is Kirill. He is the primate or bishop or pope of Russian Orthodox Church. He lives in Moscow. Moscow is called Rome III. So technically, Eastern Orthodoxy divided into two pieces: people who follow Rome II and people who follow Rome III. This man in this picture don't need any introduction. Let's look into Ukraine Eastern Orthodox churches. At the end of 20th century, there were 3 churches in Ukraine: Ukrainian Orthodox Church, Moscow Patriarchate, 7 million members, governing body Russian Orthodox Church.
Ukrainian Autocephalous Orthodox Church, autonomous, members 3 million. Ukrainian Orthodox Church, Kyiv Patriarchate, autonomous, members 100,000. The Ukrainian government don't like this Ukrainian Orthodox Church, Moscow Patriarchate. They wanted to make this independent. They started persecuting the members of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, Moscow Patriarchate. Let's see what happened. Amalgamation of Ukrainian churches. In 2019, the Ukrainian arm of the family of Orthodox churches declared its independence from the Russian Orthodox Church, and the nominal head of the Orthodox family, Bartholomew of Constantinople, supported it. They separated from the Russian Orthodox Church. He made the Ukraine Orthodox Church independent. How he did that? He took part of Ukrainian Orthodox Church, Moscow Patriarchate. From this church, not everyone amalgamated. It became 3 or 4 pieces. Then put with remaining 2 churches, and he created something called Orthodox Church of Ukraine. So they completely came out of the Russian control. Russia lost its religious authority on Ukraine. The Russian Orthodox Church furiously rejected the amalgamation. They severed ties with Bartholomew immediately in 2019, then called him an American stooge. It came down to this. Bartholomew I, the ecumenical patriarch of Constantinople, had become the CIA agent from Russian perspective. Kirill, the bishop or pope of Russian Orthodox Church, had become SVR RF agent. It's a Russian intelligence agency like CIA from Ukrainian perspective. Mr. Putin, the Christian president who wants to build a Christian dome based in Moscow, Rome 3, has decided to fix this. He is furious. His rivals opened a Pandora box. Why is Mr. Putin invading Ukraine, and what does he want? Let's visit 10th century. Vladimir the Great. He was the prince, king, and the ruler of Kievan Rus from 980 to 1015. Basil II, a Christian emperor from Byzantium city, was afraid of his treacherous generals. He approached Vladimir of the Rus for help. The condition? If Vladimir of the Rus would help him put down the revolt, he would give him the hand of his sister Anna in marriage. It was a status changer for Vladimir. But first, Vladimir would have to convert to Christianity. Vladimir took baptism in Crimea in 988 and became a Christian. Then he married Anna. As promised, he dispatched 6,000 troops to the Byzantine Empire, and they helped to put down the revolt against Basil II. Then he went to Kyiv, called the people of Kyiv, Ukraine, to the Dnieper River for mass baptism. Thousands of people got into the river and received their baptism during that time. This is the founding iconic act of Russian Orthodox Christianity. So Vladimir the Great is considered as the founder of Russian Orthodox Christianity. During his Christian reign for 27 years, Vladimir the Great lived the teachings of the Bible through acts of charity. He founded numerous churches, established schools, protected the poor, and introduced Christian courts. The Byzantine Empire fall down. The Russians saw themselves as its natural successor. They were a third Rome. Vladimir was declared a saint. This is what Putin said. His, Vladimir the Great, spiritual feat of adopting orthodoxy predetermined the overall basis of the culture, civilization, and human values that unite the peoples of Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. The spiritual choice made by Saint Vladimir still largely determines our affinity today. In the words of the Volok, the prophet about Kiev, let it be the mother of all Russian cities. So the Kiev city in Ukraine is the mother of all Russian cities. From Putin's point of view, Kiev is the mother of all Russian cities. He doesn't want this city to be part of Ukraine anymore. For Russian Orthodox Christians, Kiev is their Jerusalem. Crimea is their Bethany beyond the Jordan, the baptism site of Jesus Christ. This is the map of Ukraine. Northern part has Kiev, the holy city of Russian Orthodox. Southern Ukraine has Crimea, the holy baptism site of Vladimir the Great. In 2014, Putin annexed this region with Russia. The eastern border of Ukraine with Russia is already secured, so he doesn't have to worry about that. The western border of Ukraine is surrounded by NATO countries like Romania and Poland. You see the small country called Moldova in between. It is one of the republic from Soviet Union. After the collapse of Soviet Union, the Russian military never left this country. They created a border country called Transnistria, and the Russian military is still staying there. So from the NATO country of Romania perspective, this border is secured. I believe Putin tries to draw a new boundary all the way from here to the Belarus border. That way, he will protect Belarus from NATO invasion in the future. I don't know what will happen to the western region of Ukraine in the coming days or weeks or months. We will wait and see. It is very interesting to see three Vladimirs. Vladimir the Great from 10th century, Vladimir Putin, the president. The secular name of Moscow bishop is also Vladimir.
What should we do? Matthew chapter 24, verses 6, 7, and 8. You will hear of wars and threats of wars, but do not panic. Yes, these things must take place, but the end won't follow immediately. Nation will go to war against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in many parts of the world. But all this is only the first of the birth pains, with more to come. Luke chapter 21, verse 28. When all these things begin to happen, stand and look up, for your salvation is near. Bible prophecies are being fulfilled in our lifetime. What should we do? We should look up and we should remember that God is in control. Our salvation is very near. Let's all be praying for the people of the Ukraine. They're going through a time of great suffering right now. Please pray for them. Pray that God gives wisdom to our leaders as they're making very important decisions in the coming days. Let's say a prayer for the people in Ukraine war zone. Dear Lord, please look at Ukraine. We beg you to stop this war. Kindly go and talk to those leaders to stay in harmony. Without you, we are nothing. Bless those people who helps Ukraine refugees. Thank you. In the name of Jesus Christ, Amen. It's time to talk about the offering. If you are being blessed by this message, kindly go to www.redmaple.bible/donate and give your offer to his ministry. Matthew chapter 24 verse 9. You will be hated all over the world because you are my followers. It is true. The type of gospel messages takes a lot of time to prepare. You took 20 hours for me to prepare this message for you. I am very careful about the images and the content that I use in these videos. I review those images, make sure they are usable, they are licensed, then I use them. If you look at the description, I gave credit to all images that are used in this video. But still, some people are driven by the devil. They flag the video with false information. Then YouTube start reviewing. I end up answering the question that takes a lot of time. Trust me, devil is very active these days. Devil tries to bring the persecution time of century 1, 2 and 3 on Christians. Your offering will help me to buy some commercial images and use in the future gospel videos. People don't go to physical church. Let's forget the COVID. Even before COVID, people stopped going to churches. So those churches are becoming a club, stadium or restaurant. Online evangelism like Red Maple Bible Ministry is depending upon your contribution. I pray the Lord to come into your heart to make you open the wallet and contribute. You can sacrifice a coffee. You can sacrifice a meal. It's a Lent season. When you do that, He will give you back 10, 100, 1,000 times more than what you gave Him. Go to www.redmaple.bible/donate and give your offering. Then tell me how He blessed you. Every of my gospel video is seen by 1,000 people by average and 300 people watch the complete video. I have the statistics. But when I look at the likes and subscription in YouTube, they're not growing. I get 4 likes, 5 likes, 7 and subscription 2 or 3. I need your help. Just like how important it is to go to the physical church, your likes and subscription are very important to grow this ministry. Not only that, when you like and subscribe, your friends and family will see that. Even one person gets salvation because of that, God will write your name in the heaven. You will become part of His ministry. If you see this message, it is very easy to subscribe and like. Tap on subscribe, tap on like. If you use a laptop or computer, click on like and click on subscribe. God will bless you for that. God bless you. Take care. Bye bye.